I am an adult and an authority figure speaking on the microphone. Okay. I'm an adult. Okay. All right. Thank you so much for coming out. Who was here in the first half? Oh, it's not even half of you. You missed some fantastic, fantastic spoken word by some of your peers up on this stage. So those of you who just come in, we are having a poetry slam up in this place. Yes. Yes. For those of you who are like, what? What did I walk into? I could have been in math class or something. Don't worry. Poetry slams are a really cool, fantastic kind of competition we do for spoken word art, and that can be anything. So your peers here are going to be up on the mic doing their creative expression sort of thing without the aids of costumes or props or anything like that. This is pure, written from the brain parts, going through your mouth words, out into your ear holes, that whole thing. All right? So it's good. You seem so excited. I said you seem so excited. All right. So you can't have a poetry slam without judges. So we've got some judges down in here, and we introduced them last time. We'll do it real quickly again. We got Jamal. We got Abraham. We got Lori. We got your host from last half, Jacob. He's going to be guest judge in here, and we got Janice. So big round of applause for your judges. Big round of applause. All right. So, audience, you may not like the judges for the rest of this. That's okay. If you think they give a score that's not high enough, you can say like higher, or you can yell. What I like to do is yell small towns, names of small towns. There you go. That's a fun one. Wawa. That's a tiny town in Ontario, right? Yeah. All right, so we're going to have some fun with that. To get us started, by the way, my name is Matt Loeb. I've not introduced myself at all. I am a spoken word artist from Vancouver. I will be hosting this, and you're going to hear mostly from your peers as we get going. But to start you off and to let the judges kind of recalibrate, we had a bit of a break. They gotta set their brains and set their heads on and get used to this. I'm going to do a piece for you. Yeah, I'm excited to hear a little piece of spoken word poetry. All right. Will you be more enthusiastic for your peers and not the stranger? Yes? Good. That's why I see some nodding. Nodding is excellent. All right. The distance between A and B only matters if you're living alphabetically. Aaron A. Aronson basically became broke bits because cats can't catch cannonball cosmonauts, delivered deliberately down dark distant escarpments, engineered entirely expecting enormous explosions, fortuitously flying forwards, gone high, helmet held hard, half hanging horizontally, eye, introduce incredible imagery, inducing impulsive introspective inside ignoble Icarus imitations. Jesus. I'm just joking. Killing kids keeps Kentucky kleptomaniacs kinda loopy, like lost lingerie linking lucky lovers. Most misguided magic moments mention modestly midnight. Next new neighborhood needs nearby nanny, or occupations occupying oscillating opposite occasions. Pre-parental planning presents particularly perplexing paragon posturing. Quiet. Question. Ready? Since single-syllable soliloquies seldom signal significant soul-searching, then that thing that they thought their toes touched that time under unveiled underclasses uprising unexpectedly victorious via violent visionaries whose wonder wouldn't wait while white women recreate yonder, your youngsters yearning your yesterdays. Zap. All right, audience. Thank you for the applause there. This is the time now where the judges will assign that poem that I just did a score. They will put up their scorecards. There will be numerical values on them. The judges will then use that as some sort of vague guideline for the rest of the competition. So judges, I think that's enough time to let all that sink in. 3, 2, 1, up with your scores. They got my back. From left to right, we got a 5. We've got a 4.5. We've got a 4. We've got a 4. And we've got a 4. Applaud the poetry, not the points. All right. Now that we're all warmed up, we're going to get going. Audience, you will be quiet when the poets are presenting, just like you were quiet for me, and you did an excellent job. Judges, put your score caps on. We are going to get started with our second half here. From grade 12, Alethea, performing Home.
Okay. 7,312 kilometers. When you think of this number, what does it mean to you? Maybe it means 7,312,000 meters. Or maybe it's the distance between you and the greatest thing in the world. Maybe it's the distance between you and the trip of a lifetime, or you and the job that you want. Maybe being able to meet the person of your dreams. For me, it's this distance between here and home. But what is home? A place, a thing, a person? Many people say it's where you live. For instance, your house, which happens to be 3 stories high and the coziest place ever. But is that really home? Is it your car perhaps, the one thing you've always cherished? Red like a rose or blue like the sky? Either way, it's yours and you love it. Or maybe a person. Someone who makes you feel like your heart has grown legs and runs towards them every time you see them. Someone who makes you get butterflies when they smile because you suddenly can't breathe when you see them. Someone who travels halfway around the world just to see you. That's what home is to me. And now, I can pretty much guarantee that you are all thinking that I am talking about a love interest. But the person I'm talking about comes in pairs. They live in a bungalow with 2 dogs. They know that I love mashed potatoes. And when they visit, they always bring me chocolate, 14 kilos to be exact. To me, home is not a place or a thing or even a person. They are 2 people who love me and my brothers equally. But I always believe that they love me more, which I'm not actually supposed to say, but oh well. And one day, my home may change. I will grow wings, fly away, and explore the world around me. And you never know, I might find someone else to call home. Unlikely, but possible. That is what home is to me, and I'm proud of it. But now, I'm sure you're all wondering who I'm talking about. Well, they are what we call grandparents, or old people. And this year, they are traveling 7,312 kilometers to come and see me and bring the Christmas spirit with them. What is your home?
Alethea, everybody! My home is the stage. Judges, up with those scores. From left to right, we got a 4. We got a 4. We got a 4. We got a 4. And we got a 4. Those were 4s for the keeping track. 4s. 5 4s. 4s. All right. Audience, you've proven you know how to applause, but let's see if you can drum roll. Let's get a drum roll going for your next poet on the mic. Bradley Gee from grade 12 doing Being Short.
Man, you're really tall. Oh, don't know how to adjust this, so, you know. All right. Have you ever had the problem of people always having to look down to you? Well, that's my everyday problem. I'm a 5'6" short Lego man who everyone has to look down to me. I always have to look up to the ones that can grab a star from the galaxy and call themselves a star. Well, let me tell you guys ain't no star to me. Even though I gotta look up to you guys, we the short people are mankind's number one, and you guys are just my number twos. Me being your stereotypical Asian, I am cheap and short. And I can be cheap because my feet are size 12. Kids! Unlike you Sasquatches where your feet size are bigger than your IQ. You know, from all those blows to the head, you call your enemy the door. I got no problem that I shop at the kids section because at least I don't have to embarrass myself and ask for a double extra large. So many people just waste their height where we the short people are just wannabe Yao Mings. While you guys are just taking it all for granted and not making beds to fit your own damn size or not making cars to fit your long legs. And yet, I have to follow your shadow to stupidity. All you Eiffel Towers have such high potentials in sports, but yet you guys always fall short. Like how I fall short from getting the cookies from the top shelf. And yet when you guys do play sports, I hate it when you guys put your arm to the sky and say, "Come get the ball, come get the ball." And just watch me struggle. And I just hate it, man. At the end of the day, we aren't really different. Your head may be hitting the moon, and you may have millions of stars among you, but I'm gonna get my stool and to take all those stars away from you.
Shoes are so expensive for me. Judges! Up with your scores! From left to right, we've got a 4. We've got a 4. We've got a 4. We've got a 4. And we've got a 3.5. Let the judges know how you feel. Applaud that poetry. Give me one second. Audience, simmer down. I know I left the microphone for a second. There we go. Oh, you're so good, audience. You're my favorite audience. Don't tell the other audiences. Now, let's get a drum roll going. Your next poet on the mic, to Sahan Husseinpour!
Let's go. What are we doing?
I don't know.
All right, okay. Okay, before I start this, I want to thank Mr. Leong, my English teacher, for doing a class vote, because without that, I probably wouldn't be up here. Next, I want to thank Lucas Moore because he gave me the idea for this. So, this is a poem that I made about something I really cherish and love. Timberland boots. Timbs are great. Timbs became a meme. Timbs can be many colors. Timbs don't break your heart. Timbs eat nothing because they are shoes. So don't worry about Timbs eating your pizza, B. Timbs fought Kodak Black and lost because they're hard to beat. Timbs don't die, and that's mad facts. Timbs got 21 Savage to make his own Timbs, and they're all denim, and that's pretty cool. Timbs had been a mainstay for New York hip-hop, not for centuries, but millennia. Timbs, instead of going out of style, are always going to be a mainstay. Timbs just look nice. Timbs kill bad people. Timbs love the dirt and sand because they are work boots. Timbs make the world go round. Timbs never let you down. Timbs over Skechers. That's right, I said it. Timbs put on for their city. Timbs, Queens, New York. Timbs run around because they're also running shoes. Timbs, 6-inch boots. Timbs, Timbs, Timbs. Timbs underwater because Timbs are waterproof. Timbs, very nice. Timbs, wheat color Comme des Garçons Supreme, 6 inches. That's on my wish list. Santa, please give me that. Timbs, xylophone. Timbs, Zoom. I love Timbs, and that is the Timbs BCs. Next time, won't you sing with me?
Stand, everybody! I once knew a guy named Tim. About half of that applied to him. Good old Tim. Judges, up with your scores. Oh, the audience has feelings. From left to right, we got a 4.5. We got a 4.5. We got a 4. We got a 4. And we got a 4.5. Applaud the poetry, not the points. Keep that applause going for your next poet from grade 12, Anna Raleigh, doing Coming Out.
Yes. Hey, I'm short. Can you help me?
I'm sorry, that's my tall privilege all over that.
I would do it myself, but I'd probably break it. Hi. Hello. Okay. I'm just gonna stand here. Okay. The thought of coming out to you is like a shadow in the corner of your eye. You know, when you're tucked into bed at 3 a.m. and you can't sleep because you've got too much on your mind, and your room has almost an eerie glow because of the street lights, so you dart your eyes around the room, but you don't linger on anything for too long because, oh God, what if the dark patches in your vision catch up to you? What if they're not just shadows? What will you do then? And all you want is to sink back into the comfort of closing your eyes, but you know that the shadows don't just disappear even if you can't see them anymore. That's what I feel like when I think about coming out to you. I feel like I'm standing a couple centimeters away from the edge of a cliff, unable to move, where the thought of falling is just as terrifying as jumping off. And all I want from you is to be my parachute, to be the wings that keep me in the air and bring me back to land where I am safe. But in our household, the word gay is almost like a swear word. You tell me it's a sin because God says so, but the foundations of our home are built on a different message. Graffitied between every layer of paint in my bedroom, singing from the loud hum of our fireplace, flowing out like hot water in the bathtub, even though the tap says cold, are the words, love thy neighbor. You've spent my entire life teaching me that above all, I should love thy neighbor. So when I tell you I'm gay, think of the words scrawled under the planks of hardwood Dad put in. And when I tell you I'm gay, think of the seeds Mom plants in the garden with a message of love. I use the word gay as an umbrella term. I like boys, you know this. I've brought plenty of them home. I just like girls too. No, I'm not being greedy, and no, I'm not confused. I just like girls, and I like boys too. The first girl I ever kissed made me nostalgic for places I had never been to. When I touched her, it felt like I was traveling, and as my fingers roamed her body, I discovered new cities and forests and people, each one more beautiful than the last. And when I would intertwine my hands with hers, I could feel tree roots growing in between us and flowers blooming from her fingertips. Her disheveled, short blonde hair made my heart skip a beat. The little birthmark on her forehead right between her eyebrows left me at a loss for words. The way she used different voices when talking about certain people never failed to make me smile. I want you to understand that these feelings were real. This is who I am. Mom, Dad, I feel like we've never been formally introduced. Hi, my name is Anna. It's nice to meet you. I'm gay.
And everybody! Audience, are you enjoying yourselves? I'm gonna assume that's just because I'm on the mic. Poets, you enjoying yourselves? Yeah! Audience, why can't you be more like the poets? Yeah. Judges, up with your scores. From left to right, we got a 4.5. We got a 5. We got a 4.5. We got a 5. And we got a 5. Applaud the poetry, not the points. Keep that applause going for your next poet on the mic, Sam, from grade 12, doing When I Grow Up.
I'm not this tall.
None of you are this tall.
Thank you. What do you want to be when you grow up? This is a question we get asked a lot through school. Career-wise, I don't exactly know what I want to do, but there's one thing I do know what I want to do, and that is be a dad. I'm not saying this because I have a bad dad or anything. If anything, I have one of the best. He loves and cares for me, teaches me life lessons, and always accepts me, even if we don't agree eye to eye on certain things. It sucks that there's a lot of not-so-great dads out there, giving all the good dads a bad stereotype. I don't ever want to be one of these dads. If my dad has shown me anything throughout life, it's how great being a dad can be. I want to be a dad when I grow up. I want to be the kind of dad who takes his kids to the park every weekend to play. The kind of dad who cooks breakfast every weekend for his family. I want to be the dad who maybe has to slip out of work because his kid's forgetful and forgets stuff at home. A dad who teaches his kids the value of $1 and that if there's anything you want in this world, all you have to do is work for it. A dad who comes from every day from work to see his kids happy and healthy. Perhaps even buy school supplies the day before school starts. I want to see how happy they are to see the presents under the tree on Christmas morning. And I want to take them on road trips across Canada so they can see what a great place we live in. And when they get older, I want to teach them to respect everyone, even if our opinions are different than theirs. And I also want to tell them that everyone is equal and no one is better than anyone else. Most importantly, I want them to follow their dreams and do what makes them happy. And I'll be sure to tell them I love them every single day. I know it's not realistic or smart to be a dad at 17, but when I grow up, I don't want to be a doctor, a scientist, accountant, or lawyer. I want to be a dad.
Sam, everybody! For those of you wondering, I am not a dad yet. Yet. Thank you. All right, judges. I can give you more time, but I have to talk about my own father then, so let's put those scores up. Left to right, we got a 4. We got a 4. We got a 4. We got a 4. And we got a 3.5. Audience, let them know how you feel. Poets, it's about the poetry, not the points. Applaud the poetry. Yeah. Audience, poets, do you have an interest in seeing more poetry outside of this setting? Yeah, that's some enthusiasm. Myself and Jacob, we're a part of the Vancouver Poetry Slam, and the fourth Monday of every month is the Vancouver Youth Poetry Slam at Café du Soleil. It's down there on Commercial Drive inside Vancouver, so get on the Evergreen line with your parents' permission. Head down into Vancouver, and maybe come read some poetry and see some fantastic poetry by other wonderful, fantastic youths at the Vancouver Youth Poetry Slam. Now, get that drum roll going for your next poet. On the microphone, Tyler Clare, performing Lance.
He grew up in a Catholic household, a good kid with a soft heart, or so I've been told, since I still haven't met him, I still haven't met him, but my mom said a lot about her cousin in the hospital, so I gave it some thought, and I wrote this for her, because he's not himself anymore. Anyways, his dad was an alcoholic, his mom too timid to fight back, An interesting family dynamic, so we'll cut him some slack or attempt to put some kind of reasoning behind his consuming, using, spending his time, but don't worry, he says, because it's only on the weekend or when I need to sleep or I'm out with my friends for fun, for parties, nothing serious, of course. Oh, and 100% from a reliable source. It's clean, like the Borax, Lysol, and other household products it's cut with. It's clean, like the needles used multiple times, bills shared between lines. And curiously enough, drugs are addictive, so he kept doing them because he feels he's already committed. Until he's out, he's off, he's done, and he's clean, the day we've all been waiting for, then when he finally wants more than to live life as an addict. And her. He meets a girl who's his world and his everything. And her, a girl whom he loves, stumbles into his life with her arms full of drugs because something's missing without the added fun of chemicals messing with your brain, right? She was everything to him, probably comparable to the high, and when they fought, it got bad, and after an argument they had, the most obvious solution was for him to get more, and next he's at his dealer's door, and what he bought wasn't what he thought, it was fentanyl. You think he would have learned after the first time he overdosed on it, but curiously enough, drugs are addictive. So there's sirens and a trip to a hospital where he's still staying, even though he's not really there, not at all. He's in a bed with his eyes wide open, but completely unresponsive. No words up there to be spoken, so Tuesday they removed the tubes from his nose, the ones that were helping him breathe. And next week, he won't be given any food at all, and then everything slows, so kidney failure will inevitably come along with every body part going numb. Before numbers and levels drop, his heart will stop and he's gone. So just be careful, because people are dying, my mom keeps crying, and you don't want to be lying in his bed with your head and stare at the wall at nothing at all of who you once were remaining.
Tell everybody! The judges are deliberating. Audience, you are looking at me in hopes that I will entertain you, relieve the boredom between the fantastic poets. This is me disappointing you in that aspect. Judges, up with your scores! Audience, you have feelings. From left to right, we got a 4.5. We got a 4.5. We got a 4.5. We got a 4.5. We got a 4. Applaud the poetry, not the points. We got a team piece coming up. Please welcome to the stage Lexi and Megan performing The One. This side or on either side of the podium?
Doesn't matter. Doesn't really matter. Okay, let's step on this. Ones are too short. Oh no.
Huge round of applause.
Really good. You ready?
She is the one. She's the one that started this whole thing. This isn't my fault, okay? This isn't my fault. I
look up to the blue sky, with clouds floating by like my mind's memories slowly fading and drifting away until you can no longer see them. Soil pouring down on me, suffocating my every breath until there was no more sky, no more clouds, nothing. Because I was gone.
and pointed that loaded killing machine right to her smug little face that 6 months ago I couldn't stop kissing,
Staring,
holding,
loving.
And in my mind, I counted 3, 2.
One day I came home after work to see him on the cold, hard floor, knowing he had a few, and I felt my heart drop down to my feet.
Like an anchor to the bottom of the ocean.
Then he stood up and stretched out his arm like he used to do when he wanted to hold my hand. Now, instead, a gun at the end of it. I tried to scream, but nothing came out.
It was like a horror movie where the audience yells run, but the victim does nothing.
I was too scared to say anything.
Anything I ever did was for her, to provide for her. No matter how hard I tried to make it better, nothing ever changed. She never put in any effort. It was always up to me, but I couldn't take it anymore. I was done, forever.
Ugh, it took forever to get home. Why did I take this road? I knew there'd be traffic. Maybe I didn't want to come home. Home. That's what I keep calling it, but it feels like a prison where the keys are tauntingly on the other side of the hallway.
And the bars are constructed of hatred, judgment, and silence. Unbreakable.
I could feel the butterflies crawling up my throat, flapping their wings so fast I could hardly speak, because if I was late coming home again,
She would complain.
he would yell.
She would say she was sorry.
He would hit me. Again.
It was my birthday, and my wife had planned a beautiful dinner, but she forgot to buy me my favorite whiskey. She knows I always have that on my birthday, every year. But she forgot, again, like she does with everything is starting to change.
I can see it. In his eyes.
In her eyes,
In the way he looks at me or doesn't look at me. My friends notice it too. They're telling me to leave him, but everything we've built together, gone. Ugh, I
can't wait to see her. I've been away for so long. I'm tired of men in dry, clean suits with their ties so tight they're choking on the fake words that come out of their mouth. I miss her smile and her voice, and the way she turns the radio just a little bit too loud, and the way she says good morning.
sweetheart. Did you have a good sleep? I can't believe yesterday we got
Married. I'm getting married to the most beautiful girl in the entire world. My mom said that I couldn't do it, that I have too much of a temper. But look at me now, Mom. Anyways, I'm just so happy.
Are you kidding me? I'm ecstatic. We've only been on 3 dates, and I just know everything's going to be
Perfect. I saw her from across the street, and I just couldn't believe it. The way her hair fell down perfectly like it was God's creation, the way her smile lit up brighter than the stars in the sky, and I just knew.
I just knew. He is the one.
Huge round of applause for Lexi and Megan, everybody! I've competed at a couple national Canadian poetry slams, and something that always happens when people send up team pieces is there's always some guy in the back who's super excited going, yes! Team piece! Team piece! Team piece! Team piece! Everybody? I thought everyone was going to get in on that. Yeah, I thought it was going to be like we had a thing, and then I thought everyone was going to... Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. Yeah! Woo! Can we do it one time, everybody? Team piece, one time? Team piece! Team piece! Team piece! Judges! Yeah! Always one guy in the back. Woo! From left to right, we got a 5. We got a 5. We got a 4.5. We got a 4.5. And we got a 5. Applaud the poetry! Not the points. Audience, did I wear you out from the team piece yelling? I said applaud the poetry, not the points. Keep that applause going for your next poet from grade 12, Sabian St. Pré, performing What If?
Hello, hello. All right, we're good. Just right. Thank you. Now, how should I start this? How should I begin? Well, I already have your attention. Your guys are drawn right in. I need this to be perfect. I need this to be great. And I need to think of another cheesy rhyme before it's too late. What am I doing up here right now? I have to speak to all of you, but I just don't know how. This is gonna be bad. This is gonna be a stinker. Well, all these thoughts go through my head because I am an overthinker. And when you're an overthinker, everything needs to be perfection. Everything in life needs to go well and in the right direction. But you have so many thoughts going in your head. Yes, there's always more than one. And perfection becomes easier said than done. When you're an overthinker, it impacts you as a person. You imagine this amazing life for yourself, but instead it ends up worse, and it makes you feel down, and it makes you feel blue, because you weren't able to do all the things in life that you wanted to. It makes you feel shackled, imprisoned in chains, from this worry and struggle that overthinking can maintain. Oh, it eats you alive inside. When you don't know what to do with your life, well, what you're trying to, yeah. Like when you're deciding what to do for a career in your life, you become a pilot, engineer, or something else. There are so many different choices, but you just can't decide what you want to be or where you want to go in life. Overthinking can leave your mind in constant doubt, like that first time you wanted to ask that girl out. You know the one. She was beautiful, flawless, perfect in every way. And you knew she had to go up and talk to her. Just say, hey, I was wondering, are you busy Friday night? Maybe we can go go see a movie or grab a big bite. It didn't have to be perfect or flawless, I know. But just talk to her. I mean, what's the worst that can happen? Although, what if I sound nervous? What if I sound bleak? What if I end up looking like a complete and total geek? What if she says no to me, rejects me then and there? What if... Oh, that'd just be too much pain for me to bear. What if she has a boyfriend? What do I say then? What if it turns out she's not even into men? Oh my God! What if it's the what ifs that kill us in life? No matter what happens to us, we tend to suffer still. And we just see the worst case scenarios and it makes us feel like we just see the worst case scenarios in life, and it makes us feel like we're being stabbed repeatedly with a knife. So how do we overcome this? Learn to live in the now. Try not to think about the what ifs, buts, or hows. The situation might be bad, no matter how you view it. But the only thing that you can do is just do it.
What if we give a huge round of applause for the poet? Yeah. It's here for Sabian, the only person as tall as me. Yeah. You're probably still going to grow a couple more inches, and then you're going to have me beat in a few years, too. I'm just saying. Judges, what if we put up those scores? From left to right, we got a 4.5. We got a 4, we got a 4, we got a 4.5, and we got a 4. Applaud the poetry. Not the points. Audience, remember how to do a drum roll? Your next poet up on the microphone is Asia Ledoux, performing Why I Don't Look You in the Eye. Yeah, that's my bad. I forgot about the tall thing. I got excited because there was someone as tall as me.
Oh gosh. Okay. Hello. Okay. Hi everybody. This is called Why I Don't Look You in the Eyes Anymore. So, yee. Okay. My mother says I am the spitting image of her brother. She tells me endless stories of how they were when they were younger, and she tells me I am exactly like him. I have the same face as him, same eyebrows, same nose, but my eyes, especially, are exactly like his. She says he was always trying to make people laugh just like I do, and that if we had met, we would have gotten along really well. Unfortunately, he passed away before I was born, but still, she says, he lives in me. And I know when she looks at me in the eyes, she sees him, and she's filled with memories and pain. When she tells me how much I'm like him, it's almost like she's trying to convince me that I am him, trying to convince me that I'm some kind of replacement for him. And sometimes, I believe it. I try my hardest to make her happy, try to make myself into some image that died years ago. I try to help her remember his voice, his laughs, his mannerisms. I try to be him for her so she can be happy. But no matter how hard I try, I'll never be what she wants me to be. And I know she knows that, and I know that, but it's a distraction from what she hasn't accepted. And as long as she has some bridge into the past, she won't have to accept it. But it's tearing me apart. I just want her to be happy, and I try my hardest every day, but I can't look her in the eye anymore. She asks me why I look down whenever we talk. And it's because I know her well enough to figure out how much it hurts her. And I know that she'd deny it with her entire life, but all she sees in me is her brother. And I don't know who I am anymore. And honestly, I just want to say one thing to her, to tell her how I feel, so we can finally put this to rest. So Mom, I'm sorry. That's all I can say to you anymore. I'm sorry I'm never gonna be what you want me to be. I'm sorry you can't let go no matter how hard you try, because I'm a constant reminder of all that you've lost. I'm sorry I can't look you in the eye anymore. And I hope one day you can get closure so I can be myself again, so you can finally be at peace, and so you can finally see me as me.
Huge round of applause for Asia, everybody! Judges, I'm gonna look every single one of you in the eye as you give your scores. Now, we got a 4.5. We got a 4. We got a 4. We got a 4. And we got a 4. Applaud the poetry, not the points. That was your penultimate poet. Penultimate means second to last. Teaching you some English. You learned today. Deal with it. Audience. Save me. Drum roll. Last poet on the mic from grade 12, performing Shine Now, Trevor Noble.
Everyone has a unique story that they live out on Earth. Because through DNA, we will never see a day where better us is created. Through twists and turns, we all learn that our lives are a labyrinth. There will be days where we find our way, but for those that find themselves stranded by living in a world of dismay, then my advice for you is this: shine now. Because your life is far more impactful than words can describe. Shine now because there's a candle in your soul that needs to be lit, a fiery passion that you see fit. The oxygen you breathe is all that you need to speak your mind for others, in which you will find eternal peace. Shine now because through the blitz of seconds passing by, you are a puzzle piece trying to find your relevance, which makes you relevant to this universe, because the number infinity would be irrelevant without you. Shine now because although you have different strengths, different needs, different gifts, and different dreams, you will find a purpose in life that seems nothing short of holy. Your world will progress, and those that inspired you will assess the recess of your doubt and replace it with confidence for the life you are meant to live out. Shine now because the events of the past might be burdening, but your future has the power to contrast past guilt, past sorrow, past sin. So take your pride and become the ruler of your world within. Your soul will sing everlasting melodies by figuring out your necessities needed to live your lives in harmony. Your mind will flow with creativity, ingenuity, positivity, and soon those thoughts will show continuity in your life. Persist seeking happiness and subsist it on our own, because the day us students become adults is a world that remains unknown. So let breath be our savior. Let inspiration give us light, because the insight needed for our futures will soon be in sight. Shine now because once you appreciate the blessings bestowed to you each day, your heart will start pulsating in various ways. Your fear will be removed, your passion will increase, your dreams will bring you to a future covenant of peace. And when opposition and tension arise, just remember to keep your eye on the prize, because this universe needs you under its bright blue skies, for without you we are incomplete through your demise. Shine now by celebrating the knowledge of human existence, because those that live a world of darkness are in need of assistance. We are blessed as Canadians to live in tranquility, through expression, through grace, and through our civility. Our lives are a stage through each and every thought, because thoughts formulate uniquely through the lessons we are taught. So let memories be eternal. Let them motivate you to become strong, because once you shine brightly, you can never go wrong. Students, I hope you can find it in your hearts to shine now. While you know how it feels to live in content, because when the universe takes you home, you will without consent. So shine for those you love. Shine with eternal pride. Just as Ben Obadia has shown, here at Riverside.
Trevor, everybody! Judges, that was your last poet. I'm gonna let that float in, let those scores sink in. Here's some muttering some opinions. Let's see the scores. 3, 2, 1, up with your scores. From left to right, we've got a 5. We've got a 5. We've got a 5. We got a 4.5, and we got a 4.5. Applaud the poetry, not the points. Now, there are 3 more people I want you to applaud for. There were 3 people who weren't here today who were on the list, and I'm assuming they still wrote a poem, or they're sick because they didn't. But I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt and assume they were prepared for this. So can we get a huge round of applause for Priest, for Chance, and for Cameron? Writing something is the first step towards performing something. And a huge round of applause for everybody who performed something on the stage today. Sounds good. All right. I now have to stall you, and this is perfect. I actually have a wonderful thing to stall with. We're going to figure out who the winner is in a little bit, and I'm going to tell you a real quick story. Is that cool? Yeah, that was just, come on, give me a tiny bit of enthusiasm. I will get you, if we get through this story, and it'll be short, I will let you yell uncontrollably for a minute. Yeah? It's a good deal? Okay. So, when I was a kid, I didn't like to speak in front of people. Absolutely terrified me, real shy kid. But in grade 3, they told us we had to do these little speeches. Everyone had to come up with like a little minute-long speech. I don't know if they still do that. Yeah? Yeah. And I was had no interest in doing it. So I went and talked to my father, and I was like, I don't want to do this. Can you get me out of it? Be cool, Dad. Come on, be cool. And he was like, absolutely not. You have to do this. And I was like, why? You don't ever have to talk in front of people. You're a scientist. I can just do what you do. I can just wear a lab coat and blow stuff up. And he was like, that's an incredibly inaccurate view of what I do. Also, I teach full classes and speak in front of people all the time. So he was like, okay, look, here's the thing. When I was a kid, we had to do this as well. We had to go and speak in front of people. We had to talk in front of people. And the very first time I had to do that, I wanted to do a little speech on something I found interesting. And he, like I said, he's a scientist, nominated for a Nobel Prize. True story. He said he's going to do a little speech on the first man to orbit the Earth, John Glenn. And he got up in front of his class, and he said, John Glenn was the first man to orbit the Earth. John Glenn was the first man to orbit the Earth. Can I start again? Okay, one more time. John Glenn was the first man to orbit the Earth, and he apparently did this like 7 or 8 times, just sputtered, couldn't get it out, sat down, just completely upset with himself, and he was like, okay, you know what? One more time. And somebody else went up and did a speech, and he was like, can I try again? And the teacher was like, yeah, sure, why not? And he gets up and he goes, John Glenn was the first man to orbit the Earth. And then he goes into the rest of his speech. Now, the reason I actually brought that up is, can you imagine? I'm old, you can tell. So my father is old. So he was talking about a person who had done this, ages ago. And fun fact to tie it all back in around to the present, this morning at 95 years of age, John Glenn actually passed away. Yeah, you didn't expect that. You thought he'd been dead for a long time. So did I. And in the slam poetry spoken word community, there's a weird little tradition we have. And that is when somebody of note within our community, or in this case, within my own personal history of doing this sort of thing, passes away, instead of having a moment of silence, we have a moment of noise. So, remember how I promised I'd let you yell for a full minute? We're going to have a moment of noise for the first man to Herbert the Orth, John Glenn. Let's go! Woo! I promised you some solid yelling, some solid noise. And out of pure curiosity, who had actually heard of John Glenn before? And this is why we haven't been back to the moon, people. Come on. I have no idea. All right. I'm gonna. Suppose I tell a joke. All right. Oh yeah, saved it.
Yeah. Do you want to wrap us up? Should I sit back down?
Yeah, sure. Do we know who won? Yeah. Yeah. It's tied.
Thank you very much. Okay, so we do have a winner or winners. Before we start, let's thank the Poetry House for coming out today. A round of applause for hosting. And let us honor our esteemed teachers, Ms. Leonard, Ms. Schmidt, Mr. Kang, and Mr. Amelish for devoting their time. And let's give a huge round of applause to all the poets that performed today. So I think you all would like to know who won. So let's start with the grade 11s. So our grade 11 runner-up is Chad. And the winner for the grade 11 spoken word is Lauren. And now we get to the grade 12s. And this was a very difficult decision because there was a three-way tie. But we had to break the tie. So unfortunately, one person, they all did a great job. But we'll start with the runner-up. The runner-up for grade 12 is Anna. And this is a first because we've never had this before in the years of spoken word. But our winner is Lexi and Megan. So that will conclude our spoken word. Remember, the grade 9s and 10s are performing tomorrow. Please make sure that you exit quietly and have a wonderful day.